All right, everyone, welcome back. It's day 4 of the 21 convention in London, the men's conference of the century. Now, I'm glad you guys are here because our next speaker, you may recognize him from VH1, the New York Times, Dr. Phil, and he's even graced the 21 convention stage twice before in the past. He's here to speak about identifying and fixing fear, failures. He's a great guy, very fun. You'll notice him any room he walks into. Please welcome DJ Fuji.
Good afternoon, London! Hey. That's the part where you say good afternoon. Let's try that one more time. Good afternoon, London! Good afternoon! Outstanding. All right, so check this out, guys. For the next 75 minutes, I'm not going to speak to or at you. I'm going to speak with you. It's not enough to just pay attention to the guy on stage. It's not enough to just listen and hope that you absorb enough information to change things. Learning and absorption is done through action. It's done through participation. That's what I want from you guys. Here's how we're going to start that out. All right? I'm going to say good to go, and you guys are going to say good to go. But you're going to say it like you got a pair. And if you don't have a pair, well, then you just act as if. Good to go? Good to go. Awesome, outstanding. All right, let's get started. Now, before I begin, I want everyone to get on their feet. And I want everyone to join me in a round of applause for your host, Peter Murphy, for your architect, Anthony Johnson, for your staff, and for all of you guys that have made the sacrifice to be here to improve your lives. Give it up. Thank you. Take your seat. My name is DJ Fuji, and I am not here today, gentlemen, to be your friend. I am here to be your best friend. The guy who won't necessarily tell you the things that you want to hear, but he will tell you the things that you need to hear. That's what I'm here today for. My goal over this next hour and about 15 minutes is to share with you 3 things. 3 things that are going to revolutionize your game, your mindset, and your journey. Let's get started. The first thing is why we are genetically wired to fail in our journey. Now, those of you guys that know me know that I'm not a big fan of excuses, of reasons why we can't do things. But over the last year, I've been obsessed with figuring out why things aren't working for people. And this is a big, big key factor. Okay? I'm going to explain today what you're really up against. When you set those goals and you say, I want to do this, I want to get better, I want to change things, what you're really facing when you set those goals. Okay, number 2 are the hacks that you guys can use to overcome these genetic limitations. And number 3 are the things that you can do right now to start vastly improving your lives overall. Some of you guys know my background. Some of you guys have heard me speak before. Some of you guys know what I'm about. What most people don't realize, what most people see is the guy on stage. And most people don't realize that a very, very few short years ago, I was just like you. I was sitting in those chairs. I was at the conventions. I was looking on stage, and I was saying, look at that guru. Look at that speaker. Look at that guy who's got everything. What I would give to be that guy. What I would give to be in that guy's shoes. One day, I would just like to know what it feels like to be good at this. I'd like to know what it feels like to not feel helpless. I look out at that crowd, and I see a lot of guys of varying skill levels, but I see a lot of talent too. Hopefully some of this resonates with you guys. This is where I came from. Let me take you guys back about 7 years ago. At that time, before the community, I had ever found the community, my friends looked at me and they said, Fuji, you have it all, man. You're so fortunate. You're so lucky. You have so much going for you. I had gotten out of the Marine Corps. I had bought my first house at 23. I had a sports car. I had a 6-figure job. I was a United States Marine. My friend said, man, you've got everything we want. You've got it made. You're so lucky. And I looked at them and I said, yeah, man, I'm very fortunate. But deep down inside, I wasn't thinking that. Because inside, I was feeling one thing, and it wasn't fortunate. I was feeling lonely. And it's really hard to admit that. To yourself, to your friends, to your family, to anybody. Very hard to admit that. I felt lonely. I felt desperate, needy, supplicating, pathetic. But most of all, lonely. That's an emotion I never want to feel again. That's an emotion that drove me and continues to drive me. It continues to drive why I teach that. To drive why I go about and I make sacrifices to make things happen for my own development and for you guys. All the Marine ribbons, all the accolades, the sports car, the fancy house, none of that stuff mattered. Because deep down, I knew there was something wrong. I knew there was something that I had to fix. And I had tried everything. I had changed everything. And yet, I had changed nothing. I used to dread, I can tell you guys a quick story. I used to dread going to work on Fridays. Not going to work, but I used to dread Friday coming around. All my coworkers were like, man, TGIF, right? TGIF, thank God it's Friday. I'm so happy that Friday's around. The weekend is here. And I would join them and I would say, yeah, you know, Friday's awesome. I can't wait for the weekend. But deep down inside, just below the surface, I dreaded Friday. I didn't like Friday. Because Monday through Friday, I could pretend that I was doing the grind, the 9 to 5. That's why I don't have time for a girlfriend. I don't have time to go on dates or anything else like that. I'm in the grind. It's Monday through Friday. I show up and I go to work, and I go to the gym, and then I go home and I go to sleep. I can fool myself. The illusion is still there. But come Friday night, come Saturday night, when you have no excuses, and I'm sitting there at home by myself, that's when it hits you. Things have to change. And so when I found this community of guys, I found this industry, to me, that was huge. To me, I appreciate that. That's why I'm here. Because to me, this community wasn't a bunch of loose-knit guys running around throwing pickup lines at girls. To me, this community represented hope. It represented that glimmer of hope on the horizon, at the end of that tunnel. Finally, there were people out there that knew me. There were people out there that knew what I was feeling, that felt what I felt, that struggled where I struggled. And that's a lot of the reason why I continue to coach today, why I've made the sacrifices to be where I am, and why I continue to coach. And over the next few years, after that period, when I found that community, I dedicated my life to this. And I'm not going to lie to you guys, it was not easy, not by a long shot. And anybody who tells you that this is easy is bullshitting you. Straight up. They're bullshitting you, or they're telling you it's easy for them. But if you were like me, I'm 5'4" and Asian. If you were like me, if you're anything like me, if you grew up shy, introverted, you don't know how to carry a conversation, you don't have a developed sense of humor, guess what? This isn't easy. It's immensely rewarding, but it is not easy. But you know what? I remember that pain period. That period where you go through, where everything seems to be going wrong all the time. I remember that like it was yesterday.